everybody, and welcome to another Adventures in Truth livecast. My name is Jim Case. I'm thrilled to be here and even more excited that you're here with me. We're going to have a great show today. I'm excited that astrologer Shellie Enteen is back with us for another astrological perspective, particularly on the concept and not even the concept, but the experience of retrogrades. We are in retrograde season, as they say, and I'm saying that like I know what I'm talking about. But I kind of know what I'm talking about. But retrograde season is this time when we have all these outer planets that are moving around. And as always, I really want to bring forward information that helps us to address, to deal with these influences. There are things that are coming more and more rapidly every day and every week and every month, at least in my personal experience. Over the last year, particularly over the last couple years, just this sort of escalation of experience. And having this kind of understanding, I think, is very valuable, because when you look at your natal chart, when you look at this map of what you've created to be here, and then look at that in relationship to where you've become in your life, in the transits, and then looking at how these energies affect the overall experience in our lives, you begin to see that even more so, this is not about a victim experience. This is about our ability to step into our power, our ability to step into who we are, and to allow those influences to support and uplift us, and to help move us in the direction of those things we most want in our lives and what we came here to do. So this is going to be a very cool conversation. I'm very excited. You guys have all met Shellie before. She's an amazing astrologer with just a profound amount of knowledge about this. And I'm very much looking forward to this conversation. I was doing a little research in advance so I could talk a little bit more intelligently about it. But we're going to have a great show today, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So bear with us. We'll be right back, and we're going to dive in here in just a few. Yay! Fear is a Choice book. My book. Yes, Fear is a Choice. Oh, look at that. That does a really cool thing there. This is an awesome book, and I'm very excited to get to share this. Just coming back from vacation, you can see there's a new indicator on my thing here. While I was away, I found out at the International Book Awards that I was a winner in the spirituality category for my book, and that just blew my mind. There's about 2,000 entries, and I got picked. But it just speaks to me to the importance of what this book is bringing to the planet, what's happening with this. Getting feedback from people who are reading the book, who are finding and experiencing great and powerful change as a result of the book, because it will change your relationship with fear. It helps you to see the evolution of fear and the human experience, so you can kind of see it and then see how it's been brought into your experience, and then how you've propagated that experience in your own world. And even more importantly, how you can change that relationship so that your perspective of the world is not reduced or dumbed down by the fear consciousness, but that it actually opens you up when you change that relationship with fear, opening you up to possibility and potential that you never even knew existed. Because if you can't see this but can hear this, I'm looking through a very limited kind of monocled telescope experience. And so my periphery doesn't have a lot of view. I have a very singular kind of focus. When you change your relationship with fear and open that up, you now have opened up to possibility and potential that you couldn't see because of your perspective. And so therefore you couldn't access that energy, wasn't available to you. Not because it isn't there, but because your energy and focus are in a different place than where those potentials and opportunities are. So changing your relationship with fear is what helps to completely bust open that shell and bring you into that new experience. So www.fearisachoicebook.com. Check it out. There's testimonials, there's videos, there's links to all the places you can order the book. I'm also open to sending out signed copies. So if you'd like one from me, shoot me a note at adventuresintruth@gmail.com, and I can set that up for you, and I can send the book from here. So anyway, fearisachoicebook.com. Check it out. I think you'll find that it's pretty awesome. And I appreciate all of you who have already purchased the book and who have been purchasing the book. Please take time to send your reviews up from wherever you purchased. They help bring the visibility up, but they also help other people looking for the book to see what the impact is and what the potential is for the impact for them. So thank you. I appreciate you. Fear is a Choice, Unraveling the Illusion of Our Separation from Love. Grab your copy today. We'll be right back. Oh, I didn't get the change in. All right, here we go. I was trying to make my buttons go really fast and they didn't want to work with me. There we go. My world is good. My world is good. This being the year, and we're already halfway through the year, people. Can you believe this? 2021, and we're already halfway through the year. We're into almost July. My World is Good has been an amazing experience. I started this in January. This movement has been powerful. This movement has been impactful in my world. I hope that it is impactful in your world. My World is Good. Neutral, positive statement. 7.5 billion worlds on this planet as we're all trying to move through our experience and live our lives. Understanding that this concept of 7.5 billion worlds on the planet is driven by the idea that nobody can live your life for you. Nobody can fix your life for you. No one can change your life for you. You do that because you are the creator of your experience. So My World is Good came out of this desire for us as a collective, as a group of humans, all these worlds coming together to bring an energy that was a neutral, positive energy that we could all resonate in. Didn't matter, because we don't need your email address or your money. We're not looking for those things for this. We're looking for your energy and your focus and your intention. My World is Good is about that. It's about bringing that energy forward. It's about sharing that energy with, particularly in your own world. Because as you do that, your perception of your world will change and the actions in your life will change. My World is Good is about harmonizing that energy so that we reach a tipping point where we begin to see that goodness on a regular basis. And we see goodness because we see change in a positive light and we see positive change. So all the way across the board, the goodness evolves and grows and expands. So My World is Good. 10 times in the morning when you first get back in your body, just program that in. And the next level of that we've started is adding that appreciation factor. My World is Good, but focusing that as you are focusing in your world on the things that are so powerful and that you so appreciate in your life, your home, your relationship, your dog, the mountains, the trees, the flowers, whatever it is. As you're moving through your world, just take a moment, focus, snapshot. My world is good. And it's good because you got to see that beauty in your world. That's what it's all about, focusing you into that goodness. My World is Good. Check it out, share it, be a part of it. I appreciate all of you that are a part of it. I'd love to hear your experiences as you see the posts go out. Please feel free to share your experiences. Share them so that everyone else can see the power that My World is Good is having in your world. I thank you for being a part of it. Time to get to the show. Thank you for hearing me out through all these good things, and we'll be back right after this short break. Here we are. I am so excited to see Miss Shellie Enteen on my screen once again. Hi, Shellie.
Hi, Jim.
It's great to see you. So glad that you're here to have this conversation. It couldn't be more timely, I think. And I tried not to get too detailed at the intro so I wouldn't have to dig us out of anything, or you wouldn't have to dig us out of anything. But when I got here,
You did a great job. Not really. It was true. What you said was so true. We do have a cycle. And, really, I like to look at it as a principle. We can't be in constant forward motion, even when we are looking at our body. You've got to inhale. Can't just exhale.
Isn't that interesting?
Sending out, you got to take something back in, So the principle is everywhere. I mean, that's one of the things about astrology is it's mystical and magical and mysterious, but it really is principles, you know. And so, and of course, the planets don't move backwards, even though we're saying they are. It's the perspective from our planet and how we're relating in orbit. But that's what counts here.
So what do you think? So the word, as I was doing my reading this afternoon, the word that kept running through my mind about retrogrades was integration. And I kept thinking about the idea of integration. Like if we take any one of the planets that have been moving as they've transitioned, particularly at this time, because they're moving from one a sign to another sign. So the experience is completely shifting. It's no longer like even last year, I think, or the year before, where you might have retrogrades, but it's just back and forth in the same experience. It doesn't mean that it is an integration. I'm thinking in terms of
Jupiter.
Yeah, all of the major ones, like thinking, okay, so we had all this forward and progress, all this intensity that we were dealing with as these planets came online in these new energies, or they're still coming online in these new energies, in these new signs. Mm-hmm. And then it appears that they kind of, whoops, let's take a step back a second. Let's pause for a moment and rewind a little bit. I kind of went, well, is that actually integration? Is that really what this time is about? That it's already stirred up and blew up everything, and now we got to kind of sit in it and be with it? Is that too simple?
No, I think there's a lot to what you said. The only planets that are retrograding out of a sign and back into another one right now, so I mentioned Jupiter, because Jupiter just went into 2 degrees of the 30 degrees of Pisces before it retrograded. So let's give you a little taste of things to come. I'm really happy that it's going back into Aquarius, because I think we could use a little more time expanding our consciousness that way. I mean, and in the retrograde cycle, you know, I had a photo on one of the posts I did on Facebook of the actual track of Mercury as it retrogrades, and it loops. You know, it makes like a loop in the sky. So when you're going back in the retrograde, the energy of all the planets retrograde are internalized.
Okay. I think that's why I was getting the idea of integration, was taking it in.
What helps, you know, instead of the focus being as much in the outer world of the activity of the planet, mm-hmm. it's you're inside pondering. And again, all the things that begin with like review, revisit, you know, research even, you know, these things are very supported by that. And when the motion shifts back into direct, you have a new way, you have a new point of view. Mm-hmm. And with that, the image of the orbit of Mercury, you can literally see that it's not in the same place. It's not like they retrograde like this. They retrograde like this. You know, they're in a different. So that's why astrologers will tell you also during the retrograde of Mercury particularly, but also with other planets, this isn't the time to embark on new. You can do whatever you want, and people definitely do. Just know that at a certain point, there's going to be a different point of view. And especially with Mercury, it will be how I think about things. Mm-hmm. So that's very powerful, as you were mentioning, how we think about things. My work is good. You can have exciting new concepts come in. Just had one of those today. It was exciting, you know, like a shift in the way you've been looking at something that you've already begun, or even something that you're looking at doing in the future. The retrograde cycle is, you know, kind of feared by people because we don't like the momentum to slow down anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's that society of instant gratification that we've sort of developed for ourselves. Shellie, we're going to take a quick break here because I want to get into as we've kind of evolved the topic a little. I want to take a moment to Yeah. Take a moment.
And Mercury is not moving fast yet. It's went direct, but the 29th, it gets up to speed.
Words and things like that, they
Right.
come over time. So we're going to take a moment to focus. And isn't that funny? Mercury focusing. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we're going to carry on this. I'm excited to carry on this conversation. We're going to get a little bit more into definition. Then we're going to talk probably more specifics to help people remember about what these influences are. Something that you said earlier that really struck me that I want to focus into, which is this idea of the influences. This is it doesn't necessarily beat you over the head, and that because the culture has changed so radically, we think the idea of going with the flow of energy is somehow odd or unusual, and I think that's what can do us disservice with regard to what we learn about astrology. So we'll be right back. Be right back. All right. Let's do this quick moment here of focus. This is something I like to do with every show. If you haven't been a part of the show, you'll find that I do this every time because I want a couple things, put my money where my mouth is, because I believe very strongly in daily practice. I believe very strongly in managing and working with your breath. And so I like to take a portion of the segment of the show as we begin the show to pull all of our energies into alignment as we've outlined the topic, we've talked about where we're going to go. And now all of you out there that are participating and listening and here and watching, this helps us to align all of our energy. So as we move through this topic, the information that you need, the information that needs to come through will be clear, and it will provide the most valuable information to as many people as possible that are tuned into this. And at the same time, you're aligning your energy into the highest part of yourself, which is ultimately what my goal is. So if you would, I want you to just kind of sit back wherever you are and just relax into the space that you're in. And you're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just follow that breath pattern in through the nose and out through the mouth. Taking nice deep breath. And as you're breathing, I want you to just become aware as you're breathing. Don't do anything special. Just be aware of your pattern of breath as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. How do you breathe? Do you breathe in the top of your chest? Do you breathe in the middle of your chest? Do you breathe in the bottom? Are you an abdominal breather? Are you a back breather? What type of breather are you? Just observe. There's no judgment. There's no assessment. It's just an observation of how you use breath in your experience. And this is important because breath is the basis of life. Breath is the life force. It's chi, prana. Every breath you take is an act of creation. When you breathe in that life force, it animates everything in your being. And when you exhale, you're purging old energy and old air that no longer is serving the process, but you're also putting stuff into the environment that is helping other things to do their process. So this process of creation in breath is so significant, and we don't give it enough credit because we consider it an unconscious process. We don't have to think about it. And it's true, we don't. But as we don't think about it, the breath then can diminish, because if you're living in a fear-based experience, if you're not focused in love, if you are contracted, your breath is contracted. So as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, begin now to focus your awareness into the center of your heart, into the center of the space of love in your being, where the breath and the lungs are, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feeling your focus into the heart space. And now as you close your eyes and you're focused into that breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth, I want you to become aware, conscious of your field. Your field is the energy emanating all around you, further than your arms can reach, further that it just expands well beyond anything that you probably could imagine. And I'm going to ask you to imagine it, even if you can't see it. Just be there. Everyone has a receptive cycle. Everyone takes in things in a different way. Some smell things, some taste things, some see things, some have impressions, some feel things. Be in your space, in the center of your heart as you're experiencing your energy. And then consciously choose to pull that field into your heart. I really want you to consciously focus as you inhale And as you exhale, to pull that field of energy into your heart, because I want you to experience the inside of this amazing physical body that you carry around. Feel the tingle and the warmth as you feel that energy coalescing in your heart, as you feel it beating and pulsing and expanding, that creative energy that's just ready for life. That is you. Breathe into that energy and pull that energy into your body, and then let it travel. Let it move up through your neck into your head, and just begin to experience the inside of your own head. Feel into that area in your brain. Feel your brain. Go in and touch your pituitary with your energy. Go in and explore the fluid that surrounds the brain and the cavity that it sits in. And as you go through there and go back into the brain, to the back of the brain where the stem is, and then look and connect to the spinal cord, this amazing, incredible conductor of light and energy that runs up and down your entire body, protected in amazing fluid and wrapped in bone, with these nerves that are extending out all through the body, connecting to the major systems of your body. And be aware as you're doing all of that, that harmony that exists within your physical body, of all of these systems working together every single minute of every single day. And that if you focus just for a moment in conscious awareness as you bring this life force into your body, that you begin to have an impact to creating a balance in this system, to offering a more elevated balance, a more conscious experience. Because your body will talk to you, your body will share with you, your body will communicate with you if you allow yourself to be there. And so now as you continue that exploration, gently bring that focus back into the center of the heart as we focus into breath. And we're going to inhale to a count of 4. We're going to hold that breath, and then we're going to exhale to a count of 6. And then we're going to hold the exhale out, and then we're going to re-engage the breath again. So inhaling to 4, holding, exhaling to 6, holding. And here we go. Inhaling through the nose, 2, 3, 4, feeling full, feeling rich, feeling that fullness, and then purging out of the mouth, releasing all of that air. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. Now rest in that emptiness, rest in that void space, preparing to receive. As you engage the lungs, you inhale, 2, 3, 4, feeling the fullness, feeling that anticipation, feeling that amazing sense of energy and completeness, and now consciously choosing to surrender it all. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. Sitting in that space of emptiness, prepared, ready, allowing. Here you go as you engage the lungs again, breathing in 2, 3, 4. The difference is amazing. The fullness is incredible. Resting in that as the body relaxes into that fullness, and then choosing to surrender it now as you breathe through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then rest again in that empty, in that void, just in anticipation of the creation that you are about to make with this breath. As you inhale, 2, 3, 4, feeling that amazing fullness, feeling your energy expand, feeling you grow as you surrender it all again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and standing in that void for a moment. Being there as you continue this breath cycle on your own, continuing to focus in the breath as you ramp it up, as you fill it up, taking in that powerful energy of life force and creation, and then being in it, relishing it, being with it in this moment, and then consciously choosing to surrender it all again as you surrender into the exhale. This goes on hundreds of thousands of times a day. We create and we surrender. We create and we surrender. We create and we surrender. Continue that through your life in every aspect of your life as you continue to breathe, feeling the power of that breath as you become conscious of your breath and your breath is conscious within your body. Feel the difference that that makes in your experience just right here, right now. And as you do that, continuing to breathe, we're going to introduce My World is Good. We're going to bring that powerful energy to this space. So as you're breathing, just hear these words and let them resonate through you. Feel my world is good as you reach your fullness. Feel my world is good as you are full. And then as you surrender, feel my world is good as you let it go. Feel my world is good as you continue to let it go. And feeling my world is good as you rest in anticipation for the next moment. My world is good. Feel every bit of it. And as you continue, feel the power of that breath moving through you. And the more that you work with this and the more that you do this, the more powerful it becomes. It doesn't get less impactful. It only becomes more impactful. Trusting that process and letting the process unfold now as you continue through the breath process, completing the cycle that you're in. And as you complete that cycle, bring your awareness back to us here with Shellie and I, bringing that new energy, new focus, new creativity to the space as we begin to dive in again to talking about retrogrades and the influences of these powerful energies in our experience. Hi there.
Hi, that was nice. I really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. I love that. So I was having a little fun with 'tis the season. I was going to get more wordy about it, but I thought, no, it's just fun to say 'tis the season. Because we have, so let's talk about we just know Mercury is just today coming out of retrograde, right?
Well, it's very close.
Okay.
It was a couple of days ago, but again, like I said, it's at the same degree. It hasn't left 16 degrees of Gemini yet, and it will. And 29th of the month, it'll start picking up speed. And July 7th, I think it comes out of the degrees it was going back in. So it comes forward, and now it really moves forward.
Really moves forward.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Jupiter.
Well, yeah, Jupiter, definitely. That went retrograde. And Jupiter, as I said, it's going to go back into Aquarius and then go direct in Aquarius. And Jupiter, I was looking at who's the first who's going to go forward again. And when are we going to start? Who's the last to go retrograde and who's the first? Which is the last to go is Uranus. Uranus and Taurus is still direct until the 8th. Wait a minute. Glasses are necessary.
Yeah, I know.
The 19th day of August is when we'll have the full house without Mercury.
Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus will all be in retrograde.
Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. All of them.
All five out of all the big boys.
When you say the retrograde cycle, you mean the retrograde cycle.
The retrograde cycle.
So,
Shellie, I'm sorry. Let me take a quick second here. I don't want to get too far afield. Jackie had thrown up a question.
Oh, hi, Jackie.
And about specifically what we're talking about. So are we in the age of Aquarius and retrograding into the sign of Aquarius? Does that make the experience more powerful?
Oh, well, I think you mean, and Jupiter retrograding into the sign of Aquarius now. Is that what you mean?
Well, I think she's saying that there was the shift into what we're calling the age of Aquarius, which is that astrological? Yeah, it is astrological.
Yeah, that's the astrological ages. There's all kinds of cycles going on. The zodiac cycle is that one. And I think the short answer, Jackie, is that's one of the reasons I said I'm happy that we're getting a little more time with Jupiter in Aquarius, because Jupiter is expansion. And so when it's in that sign, we're expanding in that sign. And that sign is the sign, to me, it's the sign of the actual energy of life and the ability to bring in through the intuitive level, and so, I think we've done a lot. I've seen a lot, and myself, I've seen a lot. So, you know, it's change. We're in that cycle of major change and the resistance to change. We did a show on that with Saturn. And Saturn is in Aquarius too, Jackie. So there's a little bit of a check and balance still going on. Saturn says a little cautious. Let's see how we can do it without really rattling the cage too much. And, you know, so it's, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, maybe there is divine timing after all.
Right?
Who knows?
Right? And I know one of the things that's really important about this that you emphasized when we talked, and that I've also read concurrently, is understanding that some of the influence that is important to understand is in relation to where these planets land in your birth chart.
Oh yeah.
And then where they're transiting to, and then those, but all of that is the influence. So we all will experience this while the umbrella says this is sort of the overarching theme. As it trickles down, it's going to be influenced by wherever your planet is landing, and whatever house it's landing in, and whatever degree it's landing in, and wherever it's the transit is where that planet is today versus where it was when you were born. So you have all of those are important influences, and so I would encourage y'all not to go too, how do I want to say this? Not to go too, oh, okay, that's nice. This should be really nice. And because you can really go there, but if you take the time to focus in on your specific situation, you will see an incredible unfolding of the things that have occurred in your life. And I've experienced that multiple times over my life when I've met different astrologers who have done readings. And this has been, 10 years apart, where they'll read my chart in the transit, and suddenly I'm like, this is incredible, because just looking at the birth chart, you see a lot of good information. But as you see how those energies influence your current experience, it's almost kind of magical in a weird way, because you're like, how could anybody possibly see this influence? Right. And yet there it is, and I'm living it. Yeah. That's the part that just mind-blowing.
Well, depending on the time you're born, you've got a certain sign rising, so that also puts the signs on the different houses. And then, so let's say you have, you could have the sun sign or ascendant in Sagittarius. So when Jupiter retrogrades, this is another level of it. Jupiter is a chart ruler for you. So you feel that. Like Neptune went retrograde this afternoon. And so Pisces people or Pisces rising are going to feel that little bit of like, whoa, things are moving backwards, sort of in general, So, there are many factors that affect the individuals differently, just as you said. And then not just the houses, but also, is it making an aspect to a planet? I mean, Saturn can be retrograding through Aquarius and making happy trines to your planets. And you're going through it saying, wow, I'm getting so much done. So much is getting structured. I'm getting so much support. And somebody else is going, oh,
Yes, exactly.
Obstacles everywhere. So you're absolutely right. Get a reading. And then you'll really know what's going on. I do general daily forecasts.
Well, this is a perfect time, because we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to come back and let you talk to the people about the amazing work that you do. Because I want everybody out there to come see you, to come talk, so that they too can begin to find that kind of foundation of their experience, which I think astrology really helps us to find.
It really
it really truly isn't just woo-woo. It's very practical information that isn't like anything else. If you want to learn something about physics, you could read the first paragraph of a book about physics, and you could make yourself sound like you kind of know what you're talking about. Astrology is no different. You can read a thing in astrology that says, oh, now I know what Jupiter in Taurus means, and therefore. But the reality is, in order to understand quantum physics, you have to go deeper. In order to understand astrology, you have to go deeper. And that deeper is find a person who can help you understand the basis, and then you can add to that as you go.
Very good.
All right, we're going to be right back. I'm actually just going to turn this over to you right this minute
I'm
because
staying.
it's
No
the
mind,
perfect,
everybody. I'm
it's the
still
perfect time. So Shelley's going to talk with you guys for a minute about her work, and I'll be right back.
here. Okay, well, I'm really glad. I can't tell you, my light is shining in my glasses. Yeah, there's a lot of very superficial stuff going on out there. And again, astrology is an ancient practice and it has principles. And so that's something, if you understand principles and you look at things with a larger idea of what's going on, that I think is also very helpful for your life. And as an individual reading, again, it's focused on you. So as I started to say before, I do a daily forecast on a Facebook page called Astral with an A, Astral, ES. Oh, he's flashing it. You can see it. I don't have to spell it. That's great. So anyway, there it is. And there's a lot of information that's pertinent. I like to follow the what the moon is doing and the other planets to let you know, is this a good day for me to go look for a car or have this discussion with somebody about a sensitive subject? You know, it helps plan your time. But in everybody individually, their chart is going to be having impacts from all the planets. So it can never be, you can never do a general forecast or a general anything and get everybody spot on. But when you have your individual chart, then yes. And one of the main things that I love about it is that people, as Jim suggested, they said to me time and time again, this was so validating. This is exactly how I feel. This is exactly what's going on. But what I also like to do, and this is one of the reasons that I have these conversations with this man, Jim Case, is I like to look at how you can use the aspect in a positive way. And we'll get back into the idea of retrogrades when we get back with Jim. But everything we do here, you know, we come to this planet to sort of grow and work on different issues and have different relationships and experiences. And when we're aware, let's say we're aware of the fact that we've got an influence that's going to make us need to process a little more of our stuff. Or, you know, I had 2 people get in touch with me this week within one day, that were having a Pluto opposite. One had the Pluto opposition the moon, one had Pluto square the moon. And so that is a very powerful energy that's in conflict with your instinctive feeling space. So it isn't easy when you're going through something like that. And both of them have it for different reasons, because they don't have it in the same signs, they don't have it in the same houses. But you can speak to that and talk to them about transformation of some of the issues, whatever they may be, in that individual's chart and how to do it. So it's very supportive. It isn't, well, you know, there are people who will give you predictions and scare you. There's no doubt about it. I've had people come to me after being traumatized but that's a level. Again, you know, we are all operating at different levels. And so people who study astrology, who, you know, maybe still in a very emotional, dramatic space for themselves, are going to have a tendency to see the chart in an emotional and dramatic way. And also too lightly, as Jim said, we can get into all this fluffy stuff, you know, and forget that there are principles working. So the more you know, the better, in my opinion. I also do mentor classes. If you're studying and you want to have a little bit of an expanded experience, because a mentor will give you their experience and let you understand on a little bit of a deeper level and focus into certain things that you're interested in and get a broader perspective on those things. So yes, I mean, I think that astrology is the Aquarian practice, because it deals with the air realm is the unseen realm, and it's dealing with the energetic, the unseen energy. So there you are, Aquarius, and we're moving into that age. So that is why you see this incredible growth in the field of practitioners and people who are interested. When I started out, there weren't a lot of people doing it, and it was kind of hidden. It was still, they used the word occult. It was an occult subject, a hidden subject. And that, I think, was good, because the consciousness level wouldn't really be able to cope with anything else. So we are looking at cycles all the time.
Always. Guys, to get into whether a mentoring or whether to go for reading there, you can see ShellieEnteen.com is her website. So check it out there. You can also reach out to her directly at ShellieEnteen.com.
Thank you.
And say hi to her there. And of course, as she said, the daily stuff is on Astrolessence on Facebook, which is amazing. I would also like to say something about what you were, in my own personal experience, about about readings, because I had I don't remember how I met her a few months ago. Somebody did a reading, I think it was a transit reading for me, and we were on Zoom, and it was really amazing. But here's the thing about the readings, guys. She mentioned, some people who try to do predictions and try to tell you about things that may be coming and that kind of thing. The challenging thing here is find the person you trust. But beyond that is recognizing that the thing that should happen in this process is there should be enormous validation for you anytime you get a reading in astrology, because it was an imprint, and that imprint has been influenced. But understand that it's the map of you. So even if you're far afield of whatever it was that you thought you came in here to do, a reading is going to bring you some form of validation. And it's also going to present to you the challenges, and it's also going to present to you other things that you may not be aware of. But if you don't get that sense of validation of where you are in your world, you're talking to the wrong person. Because your chart is who you are, regardless of what you've done. So you should feel resonance with some of the information. The last one I had literally almost had me in tears, because it answered the questions that I've been asking for the last year and a half about what is this energy? What is this I can't seem to move past? Or what is this energy that keeps showing up that I'm trying to understand, but I don't have any framework for? And suddenly I'm having a reading and they're saying, oh, here's planet and so house, and this is going on. I didn't ask about this problem. That simply came forward by virtue of the reading. And I went, oh, I'm right on track. I'm not lost. I'm where I need to be. Or if I'm not, I now know where I am in relation to where I need to be. So I just really want to offer that, because I've never had the experience of an astrological reading that didn't validate my life in some way, that helped me to better understand. Because I say that not so that you get your lollipop. I say that because if you can go into it and have that experience, you'll then allow yourself to hear the rest of it. Because it's not all bad news, and it's not all crap and garbage. It's really powerful information that gives you the ability to step into your world in a very powerful way. So I just wanted to add that, and please feel free to add on to that if you'd like. But that's my personal experience.
I agree. I agree with you. You should feel great when you finish getting a reading. You should feel just like that. Yeah. You may not hear everything you want to hear. That's one of the issues, and timing again.
Yes.
So, and relationship. There are, I do a lot of relationship counseling, comparison of charts.
Amazing stuff in relationships.
And even with that, I mean, there are differences, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something that can be gotten and learned. That's why you're in that relationship. Yes. So people should also beware of, having someone say, that's a terrible sign for you.
Yeah.
that's not the right level.
Yeah, by the way, not only do you suck as a human, but you're a poor creator too. and please give me your $150 because for telling you what a horrible person you are.
Right.
It's terrible. No.
So, yeah, but the retrogrades. Let me tell you when the cycle stops. It starts. The direct motion is the first one is Pluto, October 6th. So the last one to go retrograde is Uranus, and the first one to go direct again is Pluto, and that makes sense because Pluto was the first to retrograde. So they're not, they're sort of stacked like, this. And when the last retrograde planet goes direct, that will be Uranus. And that is in December. And the only reason that we're not having a full direct is because Venus will be retrograde this year again.
Okay.
So she's going to be, Uranus will go direct, but Venus will be retrograde. But,
wow.
this is the way this year, and that's what makes the years all look different is, the different signs, the different retrogrades. So there's never the same moment.
Yes. And we're in, and because, this is a topic that comes up a lot, people talk about the awakening or people talk about, the shift of energies and consciousness on the planet. Seriously, if you look at this whole astrological process, but particularly with how the retrogrades are affecting and all, yes, it's the season and yes, it occurs rather frequently kind of, but the energies that we've been dealing with and the things that we've been confronting personally and as cultures and as nations just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so these retrograde times, particularly now, I think are profoundly important. Because if we can get conscious about these energetic influences and start to work with them, we can, again, momentum, we create positive change because we start in here, and that momentum begins to influence outside into the world at large. And so I was putting up here about the recipe we talked a little bit about, when you're looking at these retrogrades, that natal chart placement, the transits of where that placement is now in relation to where you were born, and then what is the influence of the retrograde on that? How is that planet being in retrograde now influencing all that you have experienced up to this time? Yeah. How could you talk about that in? I was actually thinking, and I'm just because I have it here. So I have Neptune in Scorpio in the third house.
Right.
What potential could that mean for me? Well, we don't know where Neptune is right now in my chart, but
do you know where you have 23 degrees of Pisces?
23 degrees of Pisces would be in Saturn in Pisces in the 6th house, in the 7th house.
That's your natal chart.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually have the last transit I did was from 2015.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the transit of Neptune is around 23 Pisces now. So that's where it is. What house is?
Oh, okay. So, well, my Saturn in Pisces is retrograde, so I don't have Pisces on the cusp of any house. I have Aquarius.
You have Aquarius, and which house are you looking at?
7th.
The 7th house. What degree of Aquarius is on the cusp?
Aquarius is 29 degrees, 17 minutes.
So that's the very last degree of Aquarius. So most of that house is Pisces.
Yes.
So there's a good chance that Neptune is there. If it's not there, it's in the... I'm just guessing without being able to see.
No.
This is like, put the astrologer on his mind. You can't see the chart.
Yeah, no. And I here it is.
Here it is. Oh, look, it's so shiny. So,
I truly wasn't trying to set you up.
So it's like, you can, so you could say, let's say people have Neptune going through their 7th house. You can caution people about being very focused when they're doing things that are legally, binding contracts and things like that, or making that type of definite commitment to have relationship. But you can also understand that Neptune there can be bringing you a lot of spiritual awareness about that area,
Yeah.
and how you're interacting with your partners, and some magic there too. Some good karma.
So seventh house is about relationships, correct?
That's the house of significant others, we used to call it.
Significant, yep.
And a significant other can be a doctor and a lawyer,
Yes.
And a business partner, or your whatever kind of partner
Yes.
you're having.
Anyone that has an impact in you or has strong influence in your experience. Yeah.
Right. And if Pisces is not on the cusp of any house, that means that you have Aries on the 8th house then, at the 8th house cusp.
Yes.
Right.
Taurus. No,
So
Taurus.
okay, so
Oh no, Aries, you're right. You're right. My bad. Yeah,
I was
Aries.
thinking he was born near one of the poles or something.
No, Aries is correct. Yeah.
Were they getting ready to your mother to the hospital in a sled with huskies?
Right.
Well, I mean, there are charts, that have very big houses with lots of signs. So, I mean, the thing is that makes a difference too, because, if we happen to hit you with no Pisces cusp, but if you had Pisces on the cusp of a house, then that is the quote ruler of that house and all the things of that house. So, and the fact that you have Neptune in Scorpio is interesting, because and in your 3rd house, because you do have the potential to take that very deep look into the spiritual, get psychic messages. And things like that. Also be confused. I mean, depending on what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've also got I was looking as I was reading too, and I have the trine to Pluto, or the sextile to Pluto. That original placement of Neptune is sextile Pluto, which I guess is a unique placement in some cases too. But anyway, so I it wasn't meant to put you on the spot, and after I asked it, I thought that was silly, because there's too much information you got to have here. But I think Shellie gave us a really good understanding of she immediately went to look at, okay, let's look at the houses, look at the signs, look at the degrees. There's a lot to this, that it's not just, Saturn and Neptune in Scorpio is this. It is this, but it's this influenced by this, overlaid by that, and
it's very true.
So it's, to try to come down to a 2-sentence explanation may not be the way it's going to go, or the way you're going to get the most information out of it.
Yeah, it can hit some points if we're lucky.
Right. Yeah.
But if we have the whole, we can look at the whole picture, then it's better. And you said something about Jupiter earlier before we started the show.
Oh, no, I have Jupiter in the 10th house or 9th house in where is it? In Taurus. Yeah.
Where Jupiter. The transit of Jupiter is now. Didn't you say something about looking that up?
I don't know where is it now.
I think that's another Pisces thing for you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
so it skipped. So it's right back to the 7th house.
Right.
So I could have all of these major planets transiting my 7th house right now.
No, you can only have the ones that are in Pisces.
Duh. Only the ones in Pisces. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, you can't have anybody else.
Yeah, I can't invite my Libran friends in to join me.
I'm sorry. That's one of the things I always tell people. I can't take a big, stick and push the planets around.
Yeah, can't mush them around. That's not going to
change your reading for you.
That's so funny.
They are.
Well, Shellie, I would love, for our time remaining here, the few minutes, if you wouldn't mind, what message you really want to deliver about these retrogrades and the influence that they're creating at this time, and what you want everybody out there to kind of take from this as we wind down.
Well, I'd really love, the first thing I love you to take from this is that there's nothing that's bad and there's nothing that's good even. All the time. Principle of expansion with Jupiter is also, sometimes you don't want something to expand. like your waistline or
Exactly.
something.
Or your blood vessels, or
There are things, right? Even something that looks good, like your house, the value of your house is going up, and then they reassess your taxes, which also go up. So again, we have to be understanding that principles are principles, and we can work with them. That's the most important thing to know. If you know you've got a transit of Neptune in a certain house, then you'll know how to deal with it, how to look at it. If it's in your fourth house, it's your root. You may feel a little confused and uncertain about things like that. And so you have to do a lot of grounding practice. You do meditative practice, you use essential oils that are grounding, whatever. So there's always a way you can work with it, and then you can bring it in and it's positive. And Neptune is like, the highest in the, And your book, Fear is a Choice, Neptune is one of the planets associated with fear. So when I did a whole article, it's posted from yesterday's daily forecast on Neptune retrograde and the factors involved. And that's one of the things I say, is that if you internalize your fears and you're not allowing yourself to get the lesson of your fear, and as you say, like, start to release it and see why the choice is being made, and release that thinking that made that choice.
Yes.
Then that's going to be a big issue for you. But if you are able to see that, then you're going to grow. I mean, you can always come out of things better.
Yes.
Always.
Love
that's my main theme.
And it's a beautiful message, and it's a perfect message to bring this to a close, because it's, as we've talked about throughout, the idea is that these are tools. These are the astrology in particular is an incredible tool, and there are incredible people like Shellie who can utilize that tool in a way that is uplifting and that takes us to a new place with our own experience. And that's what I would encourage. I mean, you may find astrology on a daily basis is something that really stimulates you. I'm not necessarily one of those people. I want to understand the influences, but then I want to live my life. And not to say that I can't do both, but I've never been one that relies on those things to direct me. I tend to get them later on to validate me because I'm a little weird that way. I want to get out there and experience it. I want to feel it. I want to be in it, and then go, holy crap, that was really amazing. And that's what it was. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool for me, but not everybody lives there. So you may find that this is a beautiful place to lay a foundation for you in understanding that you are unique, but you're not weird. You're not crazy. You're not loony. You're an amazing human being that came here with a map, a powerful map that can help you navigate what's happening, what you're doing, what you're bringing, how you're contributing, and help you to answer some of those things in a way that is not judgmental. It's not, you're a bad person. It's, here are these influences. You chose these because you wanted to walk through this. So let's do that consciously, and let's create some powerful change together. So to that note, Shellie, my deepest appreciation and love for you, and I can't wait to have you back for the next round of this wonderful conversations. To everybody out there, thank you for being here. We'll see you again very soon. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will check you all very soon. Thanks for joining Adventures in Truth, and remember to find your joy. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Oh, I was going to just check out and not even do the end. I have to get my stuff together. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Adventures in Truth Livecast. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like to learn more about Jim's book, Fear is a Choice, Unraveling the Illusion of Our Separation from Love, check it out at www.fearisachoicebook.com. Also check out Moments of Truth, a new offering from Adventures in Truth. If you'd like to work with Jim, check out www.thesciencetransformation.com to book a session. Tune in live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time and every Friday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Or look for our new releases and podcasts every Monday. Until next time, be well, and we'll see you again on Adventures in Truth livecast.